firefighters, right, Ben? So like we're looking at Zoll right now,
Uh,
Life Pack, and like all of those Zoll reps, like one person saw it and just sent it out. So now they're showing other departments like where they're based out of.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like it's spreading, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And are we rolling? Okay. Um, because I mean, we saw Local 493 being progressive saw that firefighter cancer was largely being under messaged, and the fact that they wanted to invest in a film, which is super great, and allowed us to make this film, and your willingness to be in the film and put it all out there like you did, has just made it just this massive success. I think is not just benefiting here; it's benefiting everywhere. We've given other fire departments a tool. This film, they can just go sit down with a mayor, or sit down with a legislator, or sit down with whatever, and go, "This is what's going on," or "We need a Dr. Shukla," and it's great. That to me, that's what it was all worth doing. It was worth doing because of this. It's like it was tipping the first domino. And now it's like the film's being put to work out there, and I just love that. What a success story for.
Well, and that was the goal, right?
Yeah.
Especially with
Yeah.
Anthony's passing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my
the one
gosh.
thing he wants is every single firefighter gets screened.
Is it just me, or did I never thought he'd die? I thought he would be alive until some amazing immunotherapy or something was available to him. I never looked at him as somebody we were going to lose. Did you have that?
I don't know what it looks like, but I just know that the way he kept it all together
Yeah.
until the very end, I was like, how?
The very end.
Until how are you doing? And I'm sure other people very, very close to him have a different perspective. So I don't want to, disregard that. But like, yeah, dude, I remember that was what we all said. We're like, are they getting the wrong test results? Like, are
Yeah.
these yours? Like, how are you doing this, dude? And to your point, like he's lifting, he's doing different stuff. And
He's going to the gym after radiation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then meeting people for lunch.
Yeah, I got to tell you how I met him, right? I only knew him for, unfortunately, the last year of his life, right? When you're going and getting treatment, it's a room about this wide, and it's maybe 60, 75 feet long, and just recliners facing each other. When you look around, and anybody that's under 70 years old, you just look at them and nod, and then you have a conversation once the nurses are plugged in, and it's like, who do you work for? Right? Because we're easily the youngest ones.
Yeah.
I met a Scottsdale guy, Goodyear person, and I met Anthony. Saw Anthony sitting at the end, way more bags, way more, just he had a port, right? So he's there, you guys just talked to with Bill, right? He was doing 5 days a week and then wait a month, get a scan. Not the news he wanted, do 5 more days in a row, right? From like 8 to 4.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 hours. 1 hour to check in, do some blood work, and then 1 hour treatment, and I was out of there. And when I was done with my treatment, the first time I ever met him, kind of, did the nod thing. And he might have had some Phoenix fire hat on, I'm not sure. And I just went over and sat next to him. And for about 20 minutes, he's asking me questions. How am I doing? What do I have? Am I married? Kids? How long have I been on the job for? And he's just like so positive.
Yeah.
And, so kind of just doing that. And I can't even ask him a question, right?
You
It's
want to
like,
get you in.
no,
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
so positive. He's hitting, he wanting to get to know me, right? And it's just like, dude, that's the brotherhood that we have, right? And then finally you start talking to him, you're like, oh shit. Like, I am like, this dude's way worse off than I am. Like just his treatments, his cancers, the way it's spreading, and how many times he had to get scanned and it got worse, and there's multiple more, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's just like he's smiling and just like trying to love you the whole time.
Yeah.
We text a lot. It's just that just speaks to his personality, right? So I mean, he needs to live on, and I think this film and doing this right here, right? It's that positivity, that person, like that message, get screened. Right? So
Yeah. And man, did he want that?
We talked about it briefly, right? I mean, but Bill said like when he retires, nobody's gonna, remember who he is. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that before we get too far? But I mean, how cool is that? I mean, everyone I think related to whether it was you or Bill or Mock in that film. And to me, I certainly related to you and I needed other people to relate to you because it's like, look, you can go get treated and you can move on. Like, that's why this is so important. Like, pick your path here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think it's awesome that you did that. And you stepped in because I'd like to think I would do the same thing that you guys did to be able to, put yourself out there and do all that stuff. And it couldn't have been easy, but what's been your thought, or have you processed that, like how big of an impact you've made and just how important that is?
much like saying yes to Dr. Shukla that I would do it.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't know. I don't let myself think that way, I guess, about me, right? I think about everybody else that needs to go get tested. right? Like I know I got lucky, right? I was about 33, right, when I somehow got cancer, and it stayed there for about 7 years growing, right? Had no idea. Like Bill said, no symptoms, nothing, right?
So-
Reluctant to even get the screening.
When you told me and Becky about that corner that you worked the knot in your back on
Yeah.
for all those years, and it was actually a tumor,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a back injury, it was you had a tumor back
Yeah.
on your kidney, and for how many years did you work that muscle?
You'd have to ask Heather. My wife, I don't even know, because I just habit, right? Like my lower back, both sides would just get tight, you know, and I'm constantly like just grinding like a bear on a corner, like she said, you know, and it would relieve it, right? And it'd go away for a day and it'd come back, and it wasn't like excruciating, it was just annoying, like tight,
Yeah.
right? But I'm a 40-year-old firefighter with 2 young kids. I like to play golf. I like to work out. Like that's life.
Yeah,
Right? I'm
it's
wrestling the
pull
dog.
the muscle.
I'm wrestling my
Yeah.
kids, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
It's age.
my back's supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
I'm 40.
Yeah.
Never thought of it. And I remember after I got the surgery, I was laying in bed probably that second day, and I looked over at Heather and I was like, hey, my back doesn't hurt. You know, granted the front side hurt because that's where they went in.
I got
like,
chills the first time you told me that.
yeah, and
My back doesn't hurt anymore.
and so like even now talking to you guys, it's like I just told you I didn't have any symptoms. That was a symptom. Like it's still not a symptom in my mind.
Yeah.
It's just that was every day for me for years, I guess. Right? Just tightness.
Pull the mic out just a bit.
This way.
Yeah.
There we
just
go.
a bit. Yeah, perfect. Just so it's out in front of your face. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy to think about.
Do you remember when we watched the film
Mhm.
at FU Cancer?
Yeah.
It was just a ball fest. Everybody was crying. You were sitting next to me. I looked to my left. You weren't even watching it. You were just crying. And I look over at Anthony, and his whole table's crying. Everybody's just crying, and then I'm crying. It was the first time everybody was together that
Mhm.
had participated in the film, and but I you know. I am so grateful that you. I mean, we were just sitting on your couch. It's like, hey, you bear it all for me, you know. Just
Mhm.
tell me all your fears and everything, and you're like, if it helps, I'm in, and it helped.
Yeah.
it really helps.
You know, guys like Anthony, it has to, right? We have to keep
Yeah.
pushing it. We have to spread the word, because how many more, right, are we gonna lose?
Well,
And he wasn't even 40.
at
Yeah.
at the Firefighter 48 event in April, Dr. Shukla was there, and she was on stage, and she was talking to all the firefighters. And she said now when she scans 100 firefighters, she finds 10 to 12 cancers.
It was 7 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
The
couple
general
months ago.
population is 1, maybe 2.
Mhm.
And those are astonishing figures.
That's crazy.
And just the knowledge that many guys out there are walking around with cancer is like everybody's got to get screened. All departments across the country have to have some kind of screening programs available for the guys. It's just too big of a price to pay.
Yeah.
How was it received in Chandler? Like, has there been culture change, or what kind of feedback have you got from your guys out there?
So this all, for us, with Vince here and Dr. Shukla, this goes back probably 10 years. We had an engineer, Jason Underwood, healthy as a horse. He's that guy that would go run the 100-mile marathons. Right?
Okay.
And
Jeez.
just up all night. The Ragnars, I think, are some of them. Like, he'd just go run around McDowell Mountain and do like 2 loops. He's just crazy fit, right?
Yeah.
Nicest dude in the world. He was on our health and wellness committee, where they were just kind of like, what's out there, right? What can we do that just kind of get screens or just take care of our people, you know, be proactive? He randomly just found Shukla, right? And ends up getting this scan. He had, and I don't remember the exact size, maybe an inch, whatever it was. It was a tumor next to his thymus in the middle of his chest, which was going to be terminal had they not found it. And there's just one person that just randomly, healthy as a horse, went out, got screened, and found this. Had surgery where they went in, pulled it out. And obviously with me going through all this, you know, him and I are even closer than we were. But he's like, my first race afterwards is like, I could breathe. I didn't know I couldn't breathe.
They was just pushing up against that the whole time.
Yeah.
That's wild. And still pulling it off.
Yep. I don't know what the thymus does, or thymus. It's right in the middle. I don't know what it does, but
It
I
could
know
have
that
been in my
cancer's
ankle.
bad.
I don't know. Now I know.
right? Like back in paramedic school, like I
Yeah.
knew what it was, but not anymore. I hate to admit that. Right. So it started there. And even that was, you know, we talked about it, is we fought, you know, as a union so long with our city, and it's not my city's problem, right? It was all of our cities, right? It wasn't on the radar on how much how often firefighters get sick, how often we're getting cancer, right? And even it's grown percentage-wise, like I said, in the last few months, right? Last time I talked to Shukla, it was 7 to 8 per 100. Now we're at 10 to 12, he said?
Yeah, she said the statistics are going to be changing.
Yeah, and we use,
Percentages.
because her and I talked about like Phoenix specifically, right? You guys had about 1,000 people left to go, and she's like 70 to 80 of them, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking 100 to 120 of you.
Yeah.
That's just astonishing numbers, right? That's half of our department, right? Chandler, we're about 230, 240, right? So half of our department would have cancer if you had the numbers you guys had.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, with the Phoenix, I think we did the math. It was at least one guy per station in Phoenix has cancer and doesn't know it.
Yeah, that's
And we're chopping away at it. Like, make no mistake. Like Shukla had said, there's something like we've screened more people this year so far than she did all
How
of
much
last
do
year.
you think
So
is because of Anthony?
yeah, obviously a ton. That was a gut punch to everybody for all the reasons we talked about. The person he was. It seems like every time you talk about these people who are getting sick, it's our best and brightest. It's like our
Right.
best people, and when it keeps happening to people, like, it's a gut punch. And when he says it so blatantly, like, my goal is that people go get tested. What are you doing if you're not getting tested? Like, when that guy goes through what he went through, you're going through what you went through, Bill Reaney, and they say, all we want you to do is go get tested. We're getting our asses kicked, and we just need everybody to get tested. What
And
are you doing if
odds,
you're not?
Odds are you don't have cancer. Odds are.
Yeah.
Yep.
But some guys do, and they don't know it, and they need to know it so that they have as many options available to them as possible. And they're already going to get covered and everything like that. So just go. It's not like you're not going to get covered, you know? It's just go, you know?
and I don't know the ones that are like refusing to. I don't know what their reasons are, right?
Yeah, I
with you.
mean, yeah.
I know we have one guy, and I won't name his name. He's just, I'd rather not know. And I can't wrap my head around that because you're gonna know, right? You're gonna find out.
Yeah. You know
And
what?
when you do, it's too
yeah.
late. Honestly.
You know, maybe the single most impactful thing of this film is it got in front of all of our wives. So all the information they didn't have access to, now they're like, "Did you get screened?" Like, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Hey,
I guess I'm going to.
that's
Like,
a great,
yeah, it
great
really is.
benefit.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, no, you're getting screened. Like, it's so, and I don't know what that guy's situation is, but there was so many, wives that are like, this is terrible. I didn't know. And now they're like, you have this resource and you're not. Why not? Like, you can't run away from that one.
Yeah.
So,
And my wife Heather made me do it.
yeah.
Right. Even like knowing I should do it. Like my age group came up, and we talked about
Yeah.
this. Like the window was like whatever 5 p.m. by Friday you got to put in. Like it was like a 3-week window. It was like the 20th day out of the 21 days. I was like, okay, fine. I'll let everyone else go ahead of me.
Yeah.
Right. The older guys, the guys that have been here longer than me.
Yeah.
And I just kind of slid in at the end because my wife told me I had to. Right. She's like, you need to do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Right.
What would have happened with your cancer if it went another year? I know you were 7 years or so into having cancer.
I think about that daily, honestly, Patrick. Like it was already in my lymph nodes. I was stage 2. So where does it go?
Yeah.
Right. I still,
It's like
right.
a super highway. It's super spreading, and
Yeah. And maybe we know too much, right? I've had a few things that, have happened recently. They just like, you start thinking more and more in depth about it. It's like, what if one cell lived through my treatment? One cell. Am I dealing with this in 10 years?
I did.
Where's,
I can't
where's it
imagine.
going to go? Does it
Yeah.
go to my brain? Does it go to my heart? Does it go to my lungs? Does it go to my ankle? Like you said, like, I don't know.
What is that thing called? The
Thymus.
thymus.
Yeah.
All right.
Thalamus is in the head.
Not in my
Thymus.
ankle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was a
Thymus.
seasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's crazy. But
It is super crazy. And you made a Facebook post. It was a couple of days after we publicly released the film, and you finally you posted that you had to be in like you were trying to find the right emotional space to be able to release the film and talk about the film. Is it still difficult? I mean, how do you feel that you've put yourself out there for the guys?
I'm glad you made that film, right? We made that film. It's a message that needs to get put out there, right? We have to get all the firefighters screened. Like the laws have to change. They are changing. We know that, but it has to be routine, right? Whether it's one to start or a small test or a blood sample, whatever it's going to be, right? But at some point, everyone needs to get imaging done, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way to find renal cell carcinoma, which is what I had, right? It was on an image.
Which one did she get you on? Was it the full body MRI?
Full body MRI.
Yeah.
Yeah. First thing I did is when I called Vincier, scheduled it, and it was like a 4:30 p.m. time, right, out east. And I went to work the next day, and she called me by 10 a.m.
Dude.
Crazy. Yeah. it's
Another person who I feel like she has 30 hours in the day. I don't know how she pulls it
Oh,
off.
to this,
Like,
I mean, I'll text her and she'll text me at like 7:30 at night. I'm like, do it during business hours,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we
Not
feel
demanding you
terrible.
text me
Yeah.
back right
yeah,
now. Yeah.
absolutely, man. But she's awesome. Love her. And I mean, what was the question? We just go on a tangent. Was there a
It's
question?
okay because it's a podcast. Because
There we go.
you can go off on tangents. In fact, they're encouraged.
Yeah.
We were talking about what if? What
Oh,
if?
yeah. What if? I don't
What
know.
if it went another year? You know.
Yeah. It was spreading, right? So where does it
Yeah.
spread to? And I don't know. I'm trying to think about it, to be honest.
Is
Crazy.
it still clean bill of health? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a year since you guys did all that.
Yeah. So I'm still doing CT scans, right? Which is another concern. It's like the exposure there, right? My chest, abdomen, pelvis every 3 months. I think I have one coming up.
So
probably
the
in June.
phlebotomist coming to your house, or
No, I'm going to a diagnostic radiology place, and they put me in the tube and scan me, and then
are you doing the monthly blood work anymore? We're looking for the DNA markers of the cancer.
that still happens.
Yeah.
It's probably every 3 to 6 months. I think just whenever pops up on Shukla's radar, and I get a phone call and schedule a test. So I schedule a test, but I think that's like every 6 months. But yeah, they come to my house and do the blood draw. We talked about my post and why I
Yeah.
waited.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just emotional, man. Like, kind of to Bill's point, I don't want to be helped, right? It's my job to help you, right? And so it's to be, I don't want to say victim's not the right word, right? But to be that person where like people feel like they need to reach out to you and help you. Like I had so many text messages when I was waiting for my surgery. It was like overwhelming. I can only imagine if we were your size, how many text messages would come in, right, from your guys' department. But it was like days, it's just dozens and dozens, and people just checking in on you, right? And it's overwhelming, in the best possible way, right? It's like, oh my gosh, like it's unbelievable. Like grown men that are older than me, when I come back and they see me, like tearing up in the kitchen at work, crying, hugging me, telling me to. Just had 2 people last week, right? Telling me, hey, I just saw the video, man. I was crying. And it was just like, oh, dude, that's not what I want you to do, right? It's like, I know there's an emotional space for it, but obviously it hits a lot closer to home, right? For guys like us that have gotten, cancer and been treated. So I just wanted to make sure that like, I gave it the justice and like, I don't know. I just didn't want to have an emotional response, and I don't know. It's just weird. I want it to be right.
It's weird. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, there's some aspect of firefighter culture. It's about strength, and you're going to see some hard things on a shift and in general, and you're supposed to just be tough and overcome these things, and whatever. And you showed yourself very vulnerable, and everybody did. And you put stuff out there, and that were personal and private, and fears and things like that. And I know it's probably hard for firefighters to do that, but I'm just grateful that you did, because it's just important. Ben knows I have a huge issue with when people look at things like statistically, and go, if I told you, 5 Phoenix firefighters are going to die this year of this, you're going to move on with the rest of your day. But if I said, if those guys were standing in the room and I said, these 5 guys are going to die of this, and even just that looking into their eyes, it changes things. And when you get to know them personally, it's, and I wanted to connect your stories to people so that they truly understood cancer isn't just a word, and you aren't just like you're a human being with a family, and this is a terrifying thing to go through. And but I just appreciate the vulnerability, because it clearly articulated just how freaking scary it is to have cancer. I don't want anybody to have cancer. Not a firefighter, not anybody. It's a horrible thing to go through. Not only are you going through it, but your wife's going through it, and your kids are going through it, and everybody's got to go through it. Everybody who loves you is fearing for you, and guys who work with you. And it's it's almost like life pauses. Now we're dealing with this cancer journey thing, You stop planning those trips and a million other things because you now are dealing with this really serious thing. And but yeah, and I got lucky, not lucky. When the film got greenlit, we knew Bill, but I wanted contrast, right? I wanted some guys from other departments in the Phoenix Valley, and I wanted younger and older, and just like showed like kind of some different experiences, because you all have different experiences when you have cancer, right? Sometimes you're a guy like Bill Reno has cancer for 25 years, and other people like Scott Leatham, who had it for 4 months, so he was no longer with us. But anyway, it went to range. It showed people diverse stories, and I hope that a firefighter either related to Anthony's story and or your story or Bill's story, but there was different kind of stories there for people to connect with, and yeah, I'll never be the same person after making that film. You know, it was I thought I was an enlightened guy. I'm 57 years old. I'm a ferocious reader, and I absorb a lot of information and learn things. But I had no idea you guys were going through this, and nobody else did either. And it was just a privilege to make the film that kind of pierced the balloon and showed everybody what the heck was going on.
Hey, we didn't get in in the film. It was limited on the 27 minutes, but I'm sure there's people who watched it that connected with you, connected with Mark, connected with Rini. But like, could you share some of this, like what your career has been, like how you got into the fire service, how long you've been, what you do now, and stuff like that? Like, I'm sure there's people who watched it who would want to know more about that stuff.
Yeah. I just hit 19 years, right? So kind of this has been a process, right? Making the film takes time, and so I was at 17 years when I got diagnosed. So 19 now. Thankfully, I had a good friend that we go out playing golf together. So I went to a golf program at ASU East, and he always wanted to be a firefighter. And he kept trying to get me to take classes with him, and I kept trying to get him in the golf program.
Who was it?
Wes Lassiter, works in Gilbert. He's an engineer.
Okay. Still out there too?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. So he ended up, we got hired, I think the same year, within like 10 months of each other. Right?
Okay.
He got hired in Gilbert, I got hired in Chandler, but long story short, I got asked to leave, not to come back to ASU East because of my grades, because I just was not interested in the golf program anymore. I was just working too much at a golf course, like 50, 60 hours a week, trying to go to school full time. And it was just like psychology, sociology, Monday at 5 p.m. was not going to happen for me. Like that just wasn't going to happen. I was still working, right? Closing down the golf course. So I finally just said, you know what, buddy, you win. What class are you taking next? I think it was like hazmat or something. So we went and took hazmat class together, and then ended up in 1 and 2 academy through MCC, getting our degrees, and then we just started testing.
What MCC class did you go through?
0401.
I was 05-1.
Were you?
MCC, yeah.
Oh, I bet
That's
you know
funny.
some people.
Did you have Gibby and?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, Fredericks. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Nice,
absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. For sure.
Still used to see him every once in a while, like just random golf tournaments.
Right on.
But, yeah, so got lucky, got hired at 23. Talking about the cancer
Bless you,
stuff.
Becky.
I remember being 23, sitting in the academy, and guys come in and give you a cancer talk. And I vividly remember this is like, not me. I'm young. I'm healthy. It won't be me. Right? It took 10 years, right? But it was me, unfortunately. So worked my way up, went to paramedic school, loved the job. Once I took that first class, it was just like, I was all in, right? And then you get to the fire academy, and, it's instant family, right? My family grew by 100-something people, right? Instantly that day. Love my job, right? And so I think about like my dad. My dad just retired several years ago, right? He's always worked for the U.S. government. Just loved his job. Always smiling, happy to go to work, loved what he did, and probably worked 10 years too long, right? But he loved doing it, right? He could have retired over 10 years ago easy. And I think that's kind of where I got like that love for work. Like I just love going to work, right? Every day is something different, right? You're helping people, right? You get to see some cool stuff. You get to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we can start someone's heart, stop their heart,
Yeah.
chemically paralyze them.
How about just ride around on $1 million fire truck?
Dude, that's the biggest thing. And
right?
like, these cities are crazy. They're giving 4 boys and girls, $1.5 million truck and say, hey, turn the lights on and make noise and go fast, right? It's like
break every traffic law.
Seriously, and that's the thing, it's like the second, third call after midnight. It sucks, but it sucks together with your family.
100%.
Right?
You're going through it together.
Oh yeah, and someone's gonna crack a joke, and usually it was me and saying something inappropriate, right? And you get through it. But I love the job. I still love the job. I just don't want to wear turnouts and go into a fire. I will. I have. Right. I remember when I first came back after my surgery and I started my treatments. my engineer, we worked 5-6 years together. Love him, family, and my brother. We're driving code 3 to a fire, and we kind of go in. It's a garage fire, and I have to go in there, and there's a picture somewhere of him like spraying me down. That was our plan. Is I'm going to stay clipped in just to reduce exposures, and the first thing he's going to do is spray me down with water and just try to knock off all the soot, right? All the carcinogens. And in our head, that's like the most aggressive thing we could think of in the moment, right? And so we're just kind of standing there, and a ladder captain's walking around, kind of taking pictures, social media, and brand new, clean turnouts. And he just looks at me and goes, "What the hell are we doing?" He goes, "We need to be on a ladder truck, or we need to stop." And it's like, so started kind of thinking of like backup plans, right? It's like, how long can I do this? I was at the busiest station, right? Just because that's where you want to be, right? You guys have those stations. It's like, hey, if you're a firefighter or a captain, like you want to work this area, right? We're busy. It was dual company at one point, just came back now. We have 2 trucks there again. So, I mean, it's awesome. But I had about a year and a half when I came back from treatment before we do like a rebid, and we can kind of pick new spots based on seniority. And in that 18 months, of course, you just had turnouts in a fire probably 4 or 5 times. And you're just like, I started thinking, what am I doing? Right? I wasn't afraid to go to the fire. I wasn't afraid of the call. I was afraid of what I was exposing myself to.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to do this again?
Yeah.
Right? I never had in 17 years, like, this could be me, right? You're smart and, you watch your turnouts and you do all that. But you're like, hey, it's not going to happen to me, right? You see so many people retire before you that are healthy. At least we thought they're healthy. We don't know. They didn't go through cancer screenings like we are now, right? And I just, during that like 18-month period, was just, every time I put my turnouts on, it's like, what am I running physically? Like, what am I going to put myself through here in the next 5, 10, 15 years? Like, what does this fire do to me in 15 years?
Yeah.
Right? I've already lost a kidney. I can't lose another one. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like that thought. And it's just like, oh man. Right? And thankfully, right? And within the fire department, it's not just getting on a truck and running calls, right? That is the bread and butter of what we do. That is the customer service, like handshake, right? We have to touch everybody. But there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, right? Administratively. So thankfully I was able to kind of use my seniority, I guess. And I used to kind of help teach like paramedic school, ACLS PALS. So I was kind of leaning on that, and I actually got a training position in our EMS division. So
really?
Yeah, to shoot.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And to make Shukla very happy, I'm no longer on a fire truck, so she was excited.
I bet your wife's happy too.
Yeah, I work behind a desk and in the classroom. So
wow.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good schedule. So I work basically a 9 to 5 essentially, and then I'm responsible. Me and another captain, we do all of our quarterly EMS training.
So you're in bed every night at home?
I'm in bed every night at home. That's
my gosh,
glorious thing.
Because your wife had mentioned that.
Yeah.
That she'd.
Yeah, it was kind of like her pushing, right? She'd been kind of wanting me to do this for a while. I think what she realized is she lost her errand boy.
Yeah, right.
So she didn't think that one through. I
What
remember
do you mean?
like
pick you up
going to
stuff?
Fry's, going to Costco,
okay.
taking the kids. Right on my 4 day, I'd take the kids to school. I'd pick them up, every day.
'Cause you're
She,
off. Yeah,
she
you're
works
home.
from home,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
off. Right, let her work, and I run out. She gives me a list of things to do, grocery list, and I'd go get it done. And I jokingly always say, like, someone's got to return the 15 pairs of yoga pants that don't fit to the UPS store, right? So
Dude, I'm not saying that on this.
Yeah.
No way.
I said, yeah, sorry, I love you, baby. I do. But yeah, I think that second day I got this position and came home. She's like, oh my gosh, this is chaos. So I'm like, yeah, it's a lot, right? But
And I'll see you tomorrow.
then I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. So now I get Mondays off. So it's like Mondays are like my day. Like all day today. Today's Monday. I was doing things all day today, right? And of course, life happens, right? Refrigerator broke. We got landscape I got to do. Drip system broke. So I got to redo all that. So, you just sprinkle it in and just get it in. But
That's great. That's a big change.
it is a big change. So I was kind of worried about it at first. And I think just over the last like year and a half, like I said, just like mentally, if you would have told me the day before Shukla called me at the station, I would have told you I was going to retire at that station.
Yeah.
Running calls.
40 hour. Nope.
Yep. I was going to be a captain forever. And that was it. I've had chiefs and people in our admin for years trying to get me to test and promote. And I was like, no way, dude. Captain, station 2, forever. Right? That was my plan.
We heard about Station 2 today.
We did.
Oh.
Yeah. We heard about Bo.
Yeah.
And all this stuff this morning. So it was
Brad Miller.
Oh, no, I think Brad.
Yeah. Brad knows you.
Yeah, he's a good friend.
He's like, Tommy's going to be here. What time? And I said, probably around 3 o'clock. He's like, I can't wait that long.
Oh, there would have been a wrestling match. Something's going to get thrown. Yeah, he's loved that man. Yeah. So
because that's like the busy one, right? He was on. Like,
yeah,
that's the
by our standards, yes,
Yeah.
and that's our busy one. It's not
all relative.
It is, right? Yeah, and so just that, I don't know, that macho dumb fireman mentality is like my engineer and I, Bubba, like we're like, hey, we're gonna stay here because it was the old station. It was dirty. It was nasty. It's been mitigated from mold several times, but we ran the most calls. We fought the most fire. Ran the most codes. Right, that's where everyone wanted to be. And we're finally got like a new station. We're like, oh, we're seeing this thing out. Right, we want to be the last ones running calls out of the old station, right, and get into the new one. And then because the new one's a little bigger and we had the call volume, they brought in the second truck, like the old days when Brad was there as a captain. Right.
Okay.
That was when I was a brand new firefighter, you know, kind of working trade and overtime on his trucks. So, yeah, it's funny, it comes full circle. But yeah, and then you kind of realize, like, I'm like Brad to the young guys that got hired now. It's like, I'm old. Like, we started having this conversation the last few years. It's like, we're the old guys.
It's tough.
Isn't that funny
Yeah.
how that
Yeah.
happens?
I feel like I'm 23 still in my head, but
It's like you're the youngest guy always in the room amongst all the people, and then one day you're like, oh my God, I'm the oldest guy or one of the oldest people in the room. It's like, it just happens.
oh, yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
I remember running a call sometime last year, and I'm looking at the other three people in my truck, and I'm like, you've got 2 years on, you're a booter, and my engineer's got like 5 years and a minute. And I'm like 18. It's like, oh, crap on that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Gamage Sr., you know him.
Mhm.
He's one Ortiz, and then Junior is obviously my time on the job. And Tim Gamage Sr. was a captain at Station 22, which is where I spent most of my time as a captain. And I remember riding there as a new guy in 05 or whatever it was, 04. Oh, yeah, riding in 04, hired 05, go through in 06. And they, I remember looking at Tim Gamage Sr. about like, hey, he's just such a wise old man. Like, you know, he's been around forever, you know?
Yeah.
And then talking to Junior the other day, and we started kind of putting the math together in the years. I'm like, oh my God, I'm the age now that he was when I was calling him a wise old man. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened really fast.
Yeah. Brad is a guy, one of the captains, right? You looked
Yeah.
up to, right? I had a handful of them. He was one of them. And yeah, no, I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
Welcome.
damn it.
That's okay. We're that guy. And he's older
Yeah.
than us. So
Yeah,
we're
that's
good.
true, too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed 57, though. You look good. For
I
57.
know. I don't.
Yeah.
Genetics, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk about it. Gray hair and balding.
If
That's
I looked
fun.
on the outside how I feel on the inside, you'd think I was like 87. But
Yeah. You look good, though, buddy.
thanks, I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, you look good.
Oh, I heard that. Super awesome. Thanks for cruising out and sitting down with us. It's great to see you. And again, I'll forever be grateful for your participation in the film.
Brother, we are friends forever. You know
Yeah,
that.
damn
So
straight.
I put you in the same little piece in my heart where I put Dr. Shukla. It's like, you text, how long did it take me to say yes?
Yeah.
Seconds? I think I saw it pop up, and
Yeah.
I had to call Heather to make sure we're good for, this time slot here.
I said, Dr. Shukla or Becky was with me. We're like, we need a guy who isn't on the Phoenix department. We already have this age range. We need like a middle age range, like everything like
Younger.
that. She's like, I know the perfect guy.
Yeah.
And she connected us, and away we went.
Yeah, but
And-
anything you need, especially, pushing this film and just the word, right? Like, firefighters have to get screened. There's no way of knowing how many countless people,
Yeah.
right, we can save,
Yeah.
by making that film.
Yeah.
And to just open up and talk about myself, my life, basically. I mean, that's the easiest thing someone can do, right? And if it changes anybody's fortune, right, that's what it's all about.
It has. I mean, I think it's undisputable, man.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's from across the country, and
Yeah.
people are getting screened. People are setting up screening programs, right? I mean, you're seeing these other departments being like, "How do you do that?" And I know Shukla's talking about the calls she gets all the time about trying to help people across the country.
Yeah.
And it's not data, to your point. It's people know you now.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
met you, and they're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
we get it now."
Yeah, I had just a regular scheduled follow-up appointment with Shukla, 3 days after the movie got released. And she told me she'd already received calls from LA Fire all the way to DC Fire
Wow.
on what we're doing, how we're doing it, right? And how do we get state legislation and everything, all that passed. So I know she's even thinking about, or if she hasn't already, expanding.
Yeah.
Right, just to get the word out.
And she should, for sure.
Yeah, I've gotten, we talked about it briefly. Sorry.
Sorry.
I got, just messages on Facebook after sharing the video from people I don't even know, like in New Jersey, right? Just,
What do they say?
right. Yeah. I'm just thinking about it. Saying thank you, right, for doing it, right? That they're having the same issue, right? I'm thinking of one guy. My phone's over there. I'd bring it up. He's like, we're having the same issue here. He's like, we have a lot of firefighters that have cancer, right? We know it's job related. Like, they're sad, obviously, to see the video, but like it hits home to so many, right? There's how many hundreds of thousands of firefighters, first responders, police officers, right?
Yeah.
Just in our country, let alone the world. And we were talking about, guys in Ireland, you know, having the same thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The film's definitely creating the conversation we had hoped it would
within
create.
hours.
Yeah.
Within hours of that thing getting released, which is awesome. And that's why we do it, right? So to come back and, like I said, I'll do anything for you to push this message, and you have to get screened. There's no excuse not to do it, right? 100%. There's absolutely no excuse. And, guys like Anthony, that was his message, right? I mean, it's just a ray of light, right? Like, he's just so positive, right? So caring and genuine. If anything, do it for him, right? Don't do it for yourself. Just do it for somebody that you love, that went through it, right? Do it for me. I'll be the reason. I don't care. Right?
Just get done.
Yeah, just go do it.
Just get it done.
Yeah, 100%.
It's crazy that some firefighters have access to the most amazing resources and this orb of amazingness over at Vince here, and like, nah, I don't want to know. But
I hope they change their mind.
I hope they change
I don't know what it is, but it's a culture change, right? I mean, that's what hopefully is happening, is the culture change.
It is. I had that thought right before I made the phone call. I was like, I'll just wait. I don't need to do this.
To me, in a way, it's like taking your car in for an inspection. Of course they're going to find shit wrong with it. I don't want to bring it in and tell me I need to replace my cabin air filter and my front brakes are 90% worn.
The mechanic's making shit up.
I don't want to hear all this right now. When the car starts making noise.
It's a money grab.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I get why. It's like, well, I feel healthy. If I go in, they're going to tell me there's something wrong or I'm pre-diabetic or something. I don't want to know that right now. I got enough crap going on. So I mean, I get it. But it's just their lives, and you guys are all such good guys and have kids and wives and cute houses, and you should be able to live out your whole life. You've chosen a noble path in life, and to serve others and serve a community, which I hold you guys in the highest regard, and I always will, for choosing that. But you don't deserve the death sentence. So go get fucking screened if you're a firefighter and quit beating around the bush.
Absolutely. Like I said, we talked about earlier, right? I have a couple little side effects from my treatment, and it's way better than having cancer, right? So I have to take antihistamines every few days. Like, I'll take that all day long.
It's better than having your wife put flowers on your grave, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably my most visceral memory of that release of the movie, when we watched it at the FU cancer event. It was like just feeling her shake, like crying, squeezing my hand. Like, I've never seen her do that. Right? I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it. Like, and we'd seen it before. Like, you kind of released part of it, right? And so we knew what was coming. And still, just in that moment, man, it was so cool to watch it with 600 people. And and everybody's held hostage, right? You're at an event. It's not like you can just get up and walk out in the middle of the film. I owned everybody, and it's like, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch this, and you're going to see what these guys. You're going to learn what these guys are going through, and then the pocketbooks opened up, and they raised a few bucks. You're not human if the first 60 seconds with Bill doesn't get you.
I know.
Yeah,
that's called a hook.
Oh,
in filmmaking land,
it works.
And I had to. In the first minute and a half, you had to understand the gravity of the situation. And we did that. Thanks.
God bless you, man.
Thanks for Bill willing to. I only knew the guy for like 2 days, and it's like, can I see you in your underwear? And you mind changing your colostomy and your ostomy bags while you're looking into a mirror? He's like, if it helps the guys.
Dude, I think
it's like, yes.
Ben knows. I think that's just our mentality, right? It's, you don't help me, I'm going to help you. And then once we've wrapped our head around that, like, see a problem, fix a problem. Right? Now we were the problem. We are the problem. So now we need to fix it. Right?
Yeah.
And if that's Bill taking his shirt off and you can see, his ostomy bags and whatever, right? If interviewing me and watching, grown men tear up and having their wives cry and relive those experiences, like, that's how I got to help now. Right? And I know that. So
I agree.
You got to get the word out, man. Your movie's beautiful. And
our movie.
Yeah.
Your guys's. Anyway, if you haven't seen Dying
to
Save You, you should go check it out. It's on YouTube. You'll meet Tommy and hear his cancer story. I appreciate everybody for being here today. And Tommy, always great to see you. And I hope we see each other a little bit more frequently and
Yes, sir.
go do something other than talk about cancer. So.
Yeah. Let's go have fun.
Still
right.
play golf?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All
Not as
right.
much as I'd like to, but you know, if we make this a golf thing, babe,
Yeah.
then I have to go play golf with the guys.
Okay.
It's for the guys.
All
We
right.
gotta
play?
play
You don't
golf,
play?
honey.
Somebody's going to have to lend me some clubs.
That should say it all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. It's still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You heard that.
I
Becky,
played
our
with my
producer over
mother-in-law's
there,
clubs.
wants me to borrow her mother's clubs.
Yeah. Or Ben and I can go. We can tell you about it. You just come with us. Drive the car.
No, I want to play, man.
Okay.
I wanna
I
see
get
you play.
involved.
We'll make a documentary
So,
about your
in all
golf.
fairness, the last time I was at Top Golf, about every fifth swing, I was hitting the back net. And
Here
it
we
was
go.
dropping straight down.
And he caught
The other
5 fish
four?
at the bass
The
tournament.
other
Yep.
four
Here we go. Yeah.
went 15 feet that way and
There's the
30
honesty.
feet that
There it
way.
is.
and
Yes.
It's all coming
People
out.
are like diving out of the way, but then whack, straight and gone, and it hits and it just drops straight back. It's just
right.
like, if I could do that every time, and I won't, but I will. I promise you, when we're golfing,
But that's
you're
the
going to be
feeling.
like,
Yeah.
damn.
It
one
keeps
time-
you hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to hit 120 of those other ones, but you hit that one, you're like, oh, I can do that.
It's in me.
I turned
It's
the
in
corner.
me. I know it's in me.
Yeah.
I turned the corner.
Yeah.
I figured it out finally.
Yeah. Oh, I just need a. Nope. Still don't got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, great to see you, brother.
Love you.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.